Welcome back, rock stars, to another episode of From the Vault Custom Corner. That's right, once again we're going to be taking a look at one of my custom action figures. Old figures that I sometimes like to repurpose, fix up, either to fill in a hole in a line, like maybe they made a lot of a certain wrestler but they didn't get one of the looks I liked. Last time we looked at Kevin Nash, my Halloween Havoc 1996 variant, that I hope you guys really enjoyed. So today we're going to be looking at another character, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and that is the man called Raven. Yeah, that's right. ECW and WCW and TNA legend. He's been everywhere. He's been all over the world. He's been NWA World Champion, ECW Champion. He's a great guy. Had a lot of influence on my in-ring career. He's the reason why I do the DDT, the sit in the corner gimmick, that's all him. The pose in the corner, shameless. I'm shameless. But he's a great guy, and he really was a big influence on me growing up. And from the Offspring theme music, that was my favorite song at the time, so he was immediately my favorite guy in ECW just because he came out to that song. But yeah, so Raven is a great wrestler who has not always had the best luck with action figures. His Toy Biz WCW figure was not very good. His TNA ones later on were pretty good. His Toy Makers one was okay. But yeah, he didn't get a lot of figures, and when he did get a figure, it was hit or miss how it was going to look. Some of them were pretty good, some of them were not good. But yeah, so one of my favorite lines to collect, as you guys probably know by now, is the Jakks WWE Classic Superstars and Ruthless Aggression scale action figures. Those are some of my favorite wrestling toys of all time. Even though the articulation is really limited, the likenesses and the general look was really, really great. And unfortunately, one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, Raven, did not get a Jakks figure in that scale. They did a couple of the Titantron Live one, which was kind of alright. But yeah, they didn't end up doing a Ruthless Aggression or Classic Superstars Raven, unfortunately. Jakks wouldn't do a Raven figure until the TNA Legends of the Ring series a couple years later. I want to say around 2010 or so. Somewhere in that area. And what they did do was a great figure, and it kind of works. It's a great figure to kind of fill in a hole in the collection. It's a more modern Raven. This is not my custom, by the way. This is the one you get from Jakks themselves, Legend of the Ring Raven. This would have been accurate pretty much around 2009 or so. I met him around that time. This is how he looked. This is the shirt he was wearing. He had the cornrows on his head. The jacket's pretty big, but I guess you had to make them big to fit properly on these figures. One thing you know about these figures if you collect them is that the cloth goods stuff is a pain in the ass to take on and off. But it's cool that they bothered. I'm not going to bother taking it off because it never goes back on right. But yeah, they did a great job. His tattoos and everything are under there, but I can't take this jacket off to show you. But so yeah, this is the Jakks figure that they gave you 2009 or so, and it's good. It's good, especially as a modern style Raven. But what I always wanted was Raven the way he looked in ECW and early WCW with the Sandman shirt, the flannel around his waist, and all that good stuff. So this was pretty good. This is a good Raven to have in the display, but I wanted a specific type of Raven, so we're going to put him over back where we got him for right now. And I mean, it's cool, but so I went ahead and took my own swing at it to try to get as close as I could to the Raven figure that I always wanted. So we're going to take a look at it today. I'm not 100% on it, but I'm like 95% on it, and we'll talk about what I'm not thrilled with as we go on. So this is my custom Raven that I put together here, and as you can see, it is pretty close to the 94, 95, 96 kind of era where he wore the Sandman shirt a lot. The shirt itself I got from Ralph's Figure Clothing. You've heard me talk about them a million times, and I always will because I get great stuff from them. That's where I got the shirt to really complete the look for this figure, because you got to have the Sandman shirt. That was like his most iconic thing. The flannel shirt came off of the Jakks Titantron Live Raven. You got to have the flannel that really completes the look there. The body itself was a Ruthless Aggression Jamie Noble. Believe it or not, I took the body, and what I did, maybe hard to notice, but believe me, it's something they didn't do that I took the time to do, is I painted in the detailing on the rips. On the bottom, I took some white paint, and I went over all the ragged edges. They didn't do that. They left it blank on the figure. I did that here, and I put some flesh tone there, so you can see through the rips, and it really makes the figure pop more than you'd think. Because for comparison, check it out, right? It's the same body, basically. This one's a little bit larger, but the lower body, as you can see, they use the same shorts, right? But they didn't paint the rips on this one, and I did that on mine. See, I'm a stickler for the little details like that. That's why I did that. You know, not that this is bad. I'm just saying, it's the little things, right? It's always the little things. So, yeah, so I did that, and as I said, the only thing I'm not 100% on is the face. Well, I'll talk about the hair first. One thing I did do with the hair is I layered the hair with different colors. I went over it with a light brown, and then I dusted it with gold, and just to kind of, he had blonde highlights kind of showing through the dark brown, so I did that there. I did not, unfortunately, have a ton of long-haired, scowling, unhappy faces to work with, so unfortunately I had to use an old Triple H head for this. That's the only thing I'm not thrilled with, but it's just kind of like the nose is similar, so that's part of why I did it, and also he's definitely frowning. There are better heads I can use, but not a lot of them have long hair. I was working with what I had available at the time is what it is. So again, that's the part I'm not 100% thrilled with, but I plan to revisit this exact figure in the future and probably do a head swap when I have a better head available. I might have to like take hair off of one figure and put it on a different figure's head, but you know, we'll get there. But for now, I think it looks alright. I think it's passable. I think all the other details make up for it. Speaking of the other details, not to brag or nothing, but we're going to come back in a second, and what we're going to do is we're going to take a closer look at the tattoos, because, not for nothing, but I'm pretty proud of how that came out. A little bit more about what I did here as well, right? So I took a Jamie Noble figure, because Raven's not, like, huge, right? He's bigger than you think he is, but he's not, like, a huge guy, but, you know. So, he's got the tape going up his forearm, so I took some epoxy sculpt. He already had the tape on his hands. That's another reason I chose that figure, but he didn't have the tape going up the forearm, so I took some epoxy sculpt and I sculpted wrist tape on him going up the forearms, and I painted that just to add that little extra layer of authenticity. See, I try to go the extra mile when I do my customs. You know, like I said, sometimes I got to do something like a placeholder head or something like that, but I really try to get as close as I can with these things, doing all the little details you might not see elsewhere. So we're going to come back in a second, and we're going to take a close look at the tattoos, just to really show you how hard I worked on this thing. So hang out in a second. I'm actually going to remove the shirt, which is going to be probably tougher than I think it is. But we'll be back, and we're going to take a look, and we're going to see all of it, because I actually went all the way and did all the tattoos that I could get. So we're going to be back in a second. Check it out. Alright, so I got the shirt off. Actually, it came off really easy. It's just one strip of Velcro in the back, and it slides on and off real simple. Again, Ralph's Figure Clothing. Get yourself one of these for like $10, maybe a little bit more. I don't know. To get a lot of stuff at once, you save money that way. When you start clicking around, you're going to see a lot of cool stuff like this. So anyway, so yeah, when I did this Raven figure, even though I knew I was going to be posing him with the shirt, I wanted him to be as accurate as possible. So I went ahead and I actually did all the tattoos that were visible up to a certain point. I know he probably got more later on, but so yeah, I went ahead and I did all of these by hand, believe it or not. I went over with Tester's model paint and a tiny fine point brush, and by hand I painted every single one of these tattoos on them. So as you can see on the chest there, I'm not sure exactly what these things are supposed to be. I don't know. They're probably very important to him because they really are very intricate. I got as close as I could there. Okay, so check that out. And yeah, not to be bragging or nothing, but I did that shit by hand. I mean, I'm actually pretty happy with how it turned out. It wasn't even that hard for me. I have been practicing a little bit. So we're gonna flip it around. We're gonna see the stuff on his back. Okay, like it took me a little bit. It took me a little while. But, again, if you're just real careful, it's not that hard to do. You see the tomb, I guess it's a tombstone there. And the other thing there. And I got as close as I could to the stuff on his arm. The Rust Never Sleeps thing is really hard to do. But I got kind of close. I kind of fudged it a little bit just to make it, you know, not look like junk. Because it's really too intricate for me to do by hand. But I got close, kind of, I think. And again, over here, we got the star on the shoulder, the barbed wire going all the way around the forearm there. We got the neck tattoo gimmick there. I did the chin strap beard. You know, I really did go all out on the paint as best I could. So I'm hoping that you got a really good look at these tattoos. And next, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look and see how this figure looks against some of the other Raven figures to see how close I was able to get specifically the tattoos, because I did use specifically other action figures of him as the model. I used some photographs too, but I also used other Raven figures, specifically the Toy Biz TNA Raven figures, to model for the tattoos. I tried to get as close as I could, and I think when you see them side by side, you'll be really pretty pleased and impressed with what you see. So we're going to be back in just a minute, and we're going to take a look at that, how mine stacks up to theirs, and yeah, that's something to look forward to, believe me. Check it out. Alright, so here we have my custom Jakks Ruthless Aggression Raven and the Toy Biz TNA Raven, the first figure that they did. So again, really more so than the likeness, because obviously theirs is going to be closer to the actual Raven head, because it is him, and I think they did a really good job on it. But really what I'm really comparing here is the tattoos, because I kind of borrowed as much as I could from him, from this figure, along with some photograph stuff. They don't match up exactly for various reasons, because I think the photos I used for reference were taken from an earlier time, perhaps, or a different time. But yeah, I think for mine being hand painted versus theirs being stickered on, I think I did okay. I think I did alright with it overall. Obviously, there was some discrepancies and whatnot, but yeah. So that is the custom Raven versus the TNA Toy Biz Raven. I always loved what they did with him. I think they did a couple really good Ravens. There's another one I want to look at real quick before we're done. Still got more to look at. I always try to show you a lot of these compare and contrast. Each of these figures is going to get their own in-depth review, by the way, one day. But we're going to come back to that. To hang out one more time, we're going to do a quick side-by-side, and then we got a little bit more to do. Hang on. Okay, here we have the second, I believe, Toy Biz TNA Raven, and I love how they give him the longer hair. I always love having him with the longer hair. I know he changed it a lot, but that's my favorite. And again, you know, obviously they're going to win on likeness, but I think side by side, comparing the ink, I think I did pretty good for freehanding it based on photos and other source of reference. But yeah, I think mine holds up alright, comparatively speaking, especially comparing Toy Biz to Jakks. You know, it's apples and oranges. They don't really do the same stuff. But yeah, I wanted a Raven to fit in with my Ruthless Aggression line, and I think using figures like this as kind of a base, I was able to get pretty close. We're going to take a look at something real cool in just a minute. I've been saving it. Really let it bubble. You thought I was done? No, I'm not done. We got a little bit more to look at, because I'm going to make you guys so jealous in just a second. But we're going to be right back with that. Hang on. Okay, so here we go. Custom Raven action figure, Jakks Ruthless Aggression scale, about 1995-96 era, and I have him here inside the beautiful, awesome, so totally radical, awesome, bodacious ECW hardcore ring playset by Original San Francisco Toy Makers. Now, I have always said their WCW line was spotty at best, often very questionable. I loved their ECW output, and this ring playset was awesome. I do have it complete. I took a few pieces out, like the front of the cage, the other table, there was a couple duplicate weapons. I didn't want the thing to be too cluttered. I just wanted to give you the gist of it. Yeah, I got this ring cage full ECW playset at Original from original San Francisco toy makers. I got it at Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore, Englishtown Flea Market. That's where I get a ton of my stuff. And they gave me a great deal on this. It's kind of hard to come by nowadays, but I think they treated me real good on it. Again, it came complete, other than the fact I think originally it came with 2 figures. This one was just the ring, the cage, and all the accessories, but still very cool. Total bang for the buck. Love it. Awesome. Goes together. It comes apart really easily. And I think my Raven figure looks awesome. I think it looks awesome in this hardcore environment. Oh my god! You can almost hear Thunder Kiss 65 in the background, you know, and the shit playing. Like, yeah, that's why I did it. That's why I did this specific figure, because I wanted one that would really look good with my other ECW figures, and I might redo the head with a different look if I get a better looking face, or, you know, better looking hair or something. I'll probably come back and do a follow-up video if I do that, so that gives us something to look forward to, right? But I think for now it looks pretty good. I think if it was in a full display with a bunch of, like, if I couldn't get to all my figures because I have thousands of them. It's literally from the vault for a reason. It's all in the vault. I got tons of shit in the vault. And in the vault are my Stevie Richards and a couple of my other ECW style action figures. So I wanted to do a little bit more, but, you know, I didn't want to wait all year because I can't get to that stuff right now. If I can, dude, you better believe I'll do a follow-up video for you guys. But for now, it's just all about Raven. Because what about him? What about Raven? Well, here he is. Jakks didn't give us this look. I went ahead and did it myself. Like I said, I used an old Triple H head just to get a scowling, long-haired head. You can do better. If you want to. I think for now it looks fine. The shirt, Ralph's Figure Clothing, go ahead and check them out online. Shirt came off of the other Jakks Titantron Live Raven. Body was a Jamie Noble. Tattoos were hand painted. I know there's places online you can get decals though if you want to go that route. I just like to brush up on my painting whenever I can. The ring and the playset was at Funkenstein Wrestling Superstore. Check them out. This kind of thing doesn't come around every day. I was lucky to swoop in and grab it the second that they got it, but you might have some good luck. They have stuff coming in and out all the time. And they also have a lot of beater figures you can take and pop heads and swap body parts and make your own custom figures just like this one. That's what I do. I go there, I buy a bunch of beaters, and I swap them up and I paint them up, and I come out with something awesome like this. So we're going to wrap it up in just a second. I just wanted to show this and let you really drink it in, soak it up. We're going to come back and we're going to say goodbye, but for now, go ahead and bask in the majesty. That is the boss, some people call him. That is Raven. We're going to take it home in just a minute. Alright, that is just a few of my Raven action figures. I actually have quite a few more. I have the Toy Biz WCW one, I have the San Francisco Toy Makers Raven, I have the ECW Toy Makers Raven, I got the Titantron Live, I got quite a few other Raven figures, but I wanted a Ruthless Aggression scale Raven, and so I went ahead and did this one. Again, I had a little help, I told you where to go. Go check them out when you want the shirt, the body parts, the head, the body, all that good stuff. I had to do a little bit of sculpting, a little bit of painting, but I think it was worth the effort. I think it looks good compared and matched with some of these other Raven figures. I really do. I really had a lot of fun doing it. I think it looks great in this hardcore environment. Yeah. You got total carnage in the ring already. Where Raven goes, carnage follows. That is the law. And again, that's why I went ahead and filled this gap in my collection myself. They didn't do what I wanted them to do, so I went ahead and did it. Next up, who knows, maybe I'll do the same thing with a Mattel figure. Yeah, maybe, because I don't see them doing a Raven anytime soon. They might, but in the meantime, hey, you know, that gives me something to try. I'm already thinking, oh yeah. Yeah, I go in and out of that sometimes. I don't know, it's like something happens up here. But anyway, so we're going to wrap it up here on From the Vault. I just wanted to show you on the custom corner, my custom Raven action figure. I hope you get a kick out of it. I had a lot of fun making it. I made it about 2 years ago, actually, as of November 2022. I've just had it sitting around, and I hadn't thought to do a video about it until recently. as I said, I want to show off more of my custom action figures for you guys, so you can bet we are going to be taking a look at more of this kind of stuff in the future. Check it out on From the Vault, Rikki Roxx, Retro Corner, Custom Corner, Retro Action Figure Review, all that good stuff. Check it out. Subscribe, like it, dig it, share it, do what you got to do. This is just a couple of my Raven figures. Each of these guys is going to get their own review in the future, I promise you that. But for now, we're going to wrap it up and we're going to take it home. Thanks so much for sticking with me. I'll see you next time on From the Vault. This has been Rikki Roxx. If you can't be good, be bad. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.
Quote the Raven, nevermore.